Welcome to Six Pack Cinema. On today's episode, we will be reviewing Pokemon Detective Pikachu. In a world where people collect Pokemon to do battle, a boy comes across an intelligent talking Pikachu who seeks to be a detective. Blah, 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 blah. Let's dive in.
Dude, you should review movies.
Oh my god, yes.
Okay, I've had a couple, so movie review.
All right, welcome to Six Pack Cinema. Thank you for joining us. If you are a big Detective Pikachu fan and you're just clicking around YouTube and the podcast app searching for reviews of your favorite movie, thank you for finding ours and clicking play. If you're a repeat customer, thank you for coming back. How things work here on Six Pack Cinema is we're going to give our gut reactions on this movie. We're going to critique it, say what we liked, say what we didn't like. Then we are going to rate it on a two-pronged scale. Popcorn, which is strictly entertainment, watchability. Critical score, which is exactly what it sounds like. My name's Jimmy. I have Dave and John here with me. How are you guys doing today?
I am doing great. So, a little behind-the-scenes magic for y'all. We're actually recording before the weekend, and we just found out Robert Pattinson's going to be the new Batman.
Nice.
We just missed recording Headliner, so whoopsies. So good call, Dave. I'm not happy about it.
Sheehan, you are coming off fresh. You just watched this movie, ended it half hour ago.
Yes.
I watched it about 3 hours ago or so. I watched it today, and Dave, you saw it a couple days ago, right?
I saw it on Sunday.
All right.
Two days ago.
So, I mean, just to let anyone that's listening that doesn't know us, I couldn't have been less interested in this movie, and I usually tank these episodes because I hate these movies so much. So I'm going to try to give real thoughts and not just be a jerk.
Okay.
That's good.
That's very big of you. Thank you.
Yeah. Let's do our gut reactions. I'm
Okay,
going to
Dave.
go first.
Oh, Jimmy's going to go. Good.
I'm going to go first, okay? Because I never go first. My gut reaction to this movie is if you have children in your lives, cousins, nephews, brothers, daughters, sons, or you're a babysitter, or you run a daycare, and you were a fan of Pokemon back in your day, you'll probably enjoy this movie in the setting of watching it with kids and the background. If you're an adult who's watching it by yourself and has no idea what Pokemon is, this movie's probably not for you. I land in the ladder.
Firmly in the ladder.
Firmly in the ladder. And this movie was not for me.
Was not for you, huh? I'm surprised.
Because I'm not a child.
I'm proud that you made it through the entire thing. You did that, right?
I did that. I'm not a child, nor nostalgic for Pokemon, because I never, ever indulged.
Mm-hmm.
So this movie wasn't for me. It was probably good for what it was, maybe. I don't know. That's why I need you to that's what I need you guys to tell me. So Dave,
Okay.
What do you got?
So I am the other end. I'm probably the target audience for this movie where I'm late 20s, grew up loving Pokemon, had all the cards, played a ton of the games growing up. I was disappointed by the movie, but I think that's because, when they first announced it, I was like, this is going to be shit. And then I saw the first trailer and Ryan Reynolds, and I was like, this could be good. I thought they were going to pull, a Lego movie and actually be a really good movie out of a property nobody thought could be a great movie. But I think it's all right. I'll get into my problems once we dive into it, but it was better than it had any right to be, but I had hyped myself up too much for it.
I think I can go with that line. Better than it had any right to be. I think I could give you that. That's not a blessing on the movie, but it had no right to be good at all. So I like that line. John?
Mm-hmm. I don't know how to go about this, guys. I'll be frank. I kind of enjoyed it. I didn't want to. I didn't mean to. It just happened. I'm coming off watching it, and I mean, I was never a big Pokemon fan when growing up. I never was, but I will admit I got pretty heavy into Pokemon Go a couple years ago when it came out on our phones. I was real fucking heavy into that. Because in my office was a Pokestop. So I would sit there in my office all day. 5 minutes would go by. I'd spin the thing and I'd get a Pokemon. It was it was easy. It was great. And by doing that, I got exposure to what Pokemon are. So I had a little bit of I had some good knowledge going into this. Like, there's a Squirtle. I know what he does. Oh, there's a Blastoise. So there's a Gengar. Yeah. I had a little association with everything going on. And then you throw Ryan Reynolds in there, and that is just a key to my heart.
Yeah, you're a sucker for him.
I really am. So the movie, all in all, it's a children's movie, and it's hard to gauge a children's movie because, like Jimmy said, it's not for you.
I want to get into that once we get more into
we can get into that. I mean, it's geared towards younger audience, but it's classic children's movie where it has older humor and all the stuff for the adults too, a little bit.
Yeah,
so
100, they made cocaine jokes and when Ryan Reynolds was like, "Oh, I'm inviting you into my apartment. I never do this on a first time meeting a human."
But all kids movies have those for the adults.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's a classic kids movie with adult humor. Classic.
That's why I said if you are if Dave's watching this with his nieces and nephews, that right there is the target demo.
Mm-hmm. And I'm a child still. I'm a 32-year-old child. I'll admit that. So I have my toys sprinkled across my office here called bobbleheads. So my popcorn's probably going to be a little higher than it should be, and I admit that.
Let's go through the plot a little.
Critical's going to be a little lower.
My problem with it too is because then we'll go through the plot. Is that it started? Well, the very beginning I thought was awful until Ryan Reynolds joined. But then once he joined, I thought it was actually pretty interesting for a while, and then near the end it just became very much a simplistic children's movie, which that's what it is. But I felt like the front half was much better than the back half.
It was always a simplistic children's movie. This was, what were those Sylvester Stallone movies?
Rocky?
No, Volcano Girl or Spy Kids. It was Spy Kids.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It was
Was Sylvester Stallone in those?
Yeah, he was in Spy Kids 3 or something like that. It was, because I worked at daycare and the kids liked watching those. It was Spy Kids. It was the same plot. It was it was Incredibles. It was, it was a simple...
The big bad guy. And you gotta
big
save
bad
the world.
guy. You think he's a good guy. No, he's actually the bad guy.
Yeah.
Everyone's under a spell. It is Incredibles.
It's a huge formula.
It's like
We get it.
Incredibles
For sure.
2.
I just think the first half did better at hiding that that's what it was.
Oh, I mean, I feel like half children's movies start off with a parent dying.
Yeah. And this had both of them dying.
Yeah, so they're really going for it.
Can I ask you a question just straight up about the end?
Yeah.
So because I thought the twist at the whole time was going to be that Pikachu was his dad in the Pikachu version. How they were combined. Is that what happened? Or
Yes, but he also didn't have his memories.
Yeah, so he did have amnesia or his mind wipe, but he was also just his dad inside Pikachu.
So he didn't recognize his dad's voice?
No, he hasn't seen him since he was 11.
Oh, and that's why they could communicate to each other.
Yes.
Yeah, they would write letters and shit or cards. That's how they would talk. And he would talk through his grandmother.
Yeah.
You have to suspend disbelief for a children's movie, you know?
The main actor did a pretty good job, I thought.
Ryan Reynolds?
No, the human guy. I thought he did a really good job considering 90% of his scenes were acting against CGI.
Yeah.
Green screen.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that. I thought the girl was horrible. I've seen her in other shows where she's not horrible. I thought she was like a high school drama
She was in
actor.
Cock Blockers. She was good in Cock Blockers.
She was
just
in
blockers, Dave. Just blockers.
Just Blockers, yeah.
Was it just
Yeah, just blockers.
She was in *Halt and Catch Fire* and another TV show I watched.
I think they tried to make her an over-the-top caricature of a reporter.
I felt like the movie did a good job of creating a real world where all these Pokemon were alive in it, and she felt someone
Real world. Yeah.
Yes, but a realistic world, and she felt like someone who would be in a cartoon version of it, not a real world.
She was absolutely a cartoon that would fit well in Pokemon.
Yeah. I asked you guys, do I need to know any Pokemon to enjoy this movie? Like anything? And you said you didn't think so? You guys didn't know the answer, but you said you didn't think so? totally wrong. I mean, I feel
Yeah.
like every 5 minutes there was an inside joke that like only Pokemon people would get. Like,
You didn't know Ditto, so you missed that whole thing.
I don't know. I missed everything.
Yeah.
The only thing I knew from this was the basic plot, which was pretty garbage. And so like every time they turned around and there was a Pokemon, like, and then I felt like I was on the outside of the inside joke. So yeah, you definitely need to know the universe and the world if you want to watch this
You
movie.
definitely do.
Yes.
Yes. And also, if you need to laugh at the fact that Pikachu beat a Charizard. I mean, come on.
I don't know what that means.
That's actually not that. I'm not.
It's
gonna, I'm not
ridiculous,
going to
Dave.
nerd out in the games because
It's ridiculous.
If
Maybe a Raichu, but not a Pikachu.
no, Pikachus get stronger if you don't level them up, or if you level them up but don't evolve them. I hate that I know that.
So
Okay.
I texted you guys at one point and said I'm paying attention so hard. I was building a desk in my office, and I was like, "Don't pay attention, Jimmy. Don't be a dick about this movie." And I was paying attention so hard, and then they meet up with that mute Pokemon.
Mewtwo.
Me too. Yeah.
I was like, "What's this about?" There was like no explanation to why he was mute, so you just had to know. Oh, that's the mute Pokemon. I was like, "Why
No,
can't
it's Mewtwo.
whatever?" I was like, "Why can't this guy talk?" They didn't explain.
Oh, you're talking about Mr.
Oh,
Mime?
Mr. Mime.
Yeah, Mr. Mime.
Okay.
They never explained what was happening.
Well,
Who's
his
the mime?
name's Mr. Mime. That's
Yeah,
all
I know.
you need
That's
to-
what I'm saying. You need to know that going in. I was like, if you were making a movie, you need to explain why this guy can't talk.
Well, I mean, I kind of feel like the face paint and the glass
The
wall
name.
thing. I think
They said his name.
even
Yeah,
if you didn't
sure.
see the name.
I mean, I got that he was a mime.
okay.
That's
Mimes
it.
can
That's-
talk. They just don't. Anyway, and then it goes into that battle scene, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?"
Oh, I love the battle scene. The
I
battle
sk-
scene.
I
Where I was
skipped
like,
it.
Oh fuck yeah!
I just skipped it because this is fan service. There's no way this has anything to do with the plot. Like, he's going to win the battle, and then they're going to know where to go in the next step. This has nothing to do with anything.
So you missed the awesome Diplo cameo.
I don't know who that is, but
That's a DJ. He
All
just
right.
cameoed as himself, DJing music through Pokemon.
I just skipped the battle scene.
Oh well, you missed. I mean, that's where we found out that our dust was actually just steroids for
Yeah.
Pokemon.
Yeah, I figured they found that out.
You put together with context clues, but I mean,
Yeah, but like that was just Pokemon fan service, which is this whole movie. So like, I was just nuts.
Mhm.
I was just like, what is going on here? Reminded me of Thor. When in Thor they just stopped into the battle scene in the middle of nowhere and like this has nothing to do with anything.
You're like, I don't know what's happening.
This isn't really helping them get from point A to point B. Like it's just let's throw this entertainment in the middle.
I mean, well, you have to have a battle for Pokemon.
That's what I'm saying. So yeah, I was very confused by that.
You're lost, and I get that. And I'm sorry, I mean, we didn't know.
We really
We didn't know.
And to
I
be
knew it was
fair, my
Pokemon,
first
but-
text I sent you guys when I left the movie was, Jimmy is gonna hate this.
Yeah.
And I'm actually glad you didn't hate it per se. You just were like, wow, I just missed it.
There was humans involved.
So
So-
you could, you
So I
could
can
grasp-
tolerate it.
Yeah, not a cartoon.
And I was building a desk, so like, it was like very,
Dave, isn't it kind of funny that he says I was concentrating so hard, but I was also building an IKEA desk, which takes a lot of brain power.
Well, I mean, like I was just like, don't get lost. And
I know,
then
I
that
know.
battle scene came up, and I was like, where the fuck am I? Like, what's going on here?
I'm lost now.
So what?
I thought for maybe a second you got confused with the screener we had.
No, that was
The
pretty
random,
funny, though.
random like guys gambling in the background.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Yeah, I thought at first I was like, did he think that was part of it?
No. So what did you guys like really like? Like as like Dave as a Pokemon fan, like what cameo Pokemon, whatever it is, what cameo or like what pop up where you're like, ha ha ha.
Well,
Awesome.
I really did like the CGI and the designs of the Pokemon. I'm gonna compliment that like right off the bat. I think they did a very good job bringing these weird creatures to life
He did.
and make them look like they belonged in that world. Like they didn't stand out. It looked like people could interact with them and they were real.
And they weren't all cuddly and cute like Pikachu. Some of them were pretty weird, and they made sure
like
you knew that.
Lickitung was fucking weird as shit.
Disgusting.
But and I also like the scene where Pikachu like goes in the river, or whatever, and they get him, and like you can actually see his fur's matted from the water and everything. Whoever worked on this, they deserve all the praise in the world. So that's pretty much what I liked too, was just getting to see this world not as a cartoon. It was everything like as a kid I imagined it would be.
Yeah, those are big popcorn points.
How come I thought Ash Ketchum was like a Pokemon name?
Well, Ash was in the movie.
That's just the cartoon.
Ash is the guy who was in the cartoon.
Yeah.
Huh?
Ash was the name of the guy in the cartoon.
In what cartoon?
The
Pokemon.
I understand. Why wasn't he in this movie?
Because it wasn't in that world or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
This is about.
There's actually a hint that cartoon exists in this world, because Pikachu, when he's like depressed and singing, he's singing the theme song from that cartoon.
Yeah, that's right.
It's crazy. All right, John, do you have anything you loved
Talking about Pokemon appearances, things that freaked out about,
or anything?
No, I'm
movie-wise?
going to talk about Pokemon appearances, of course. My favorite Pokemon growing up was Cubone, so him being the first one popping up got me going right away. Loved that. Gyarados.
Yeah.
I walked around. I mean, this is my biggest shame. I went on like 45-minute lunch breaks every day at work to the aquarium in Boston and just walked around collecting little, the fish things?
Magikarp.
I had to get like 120 of them to evolve this thing. It was pathetic. I got it, and then I quit. So, good seeing him.
I love the Blastoise Gengar fight.
That was pretty cool.
Because that was like straight up exactly what you would think a Pokemon battle would be.
And I'm glad. I mean, did you realize that Gengar was all hopped up on that dust?
No, I didn't.
Because I was like, oh, they made Gengar fucking weird looking, huh?
Oh.
Now it makes sense.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Other than that, I loved every moment of listening to Ryan Reynolds' silky smooth voice. He's just a delight. I love him. Oh, how about that? Were you expecting him to be the actual father?
Once I figured it out,
like actual white Ryan Reynolds coming up, because they didn't show his father's face. I just assumed it was a black guy the whole time with all the flashbacks.
No, after like I figured it out, I was like, he's gonna be Ryan Reynolds.
I don't know. I don't know. Caught me by surprise.
You know what I think they did drop the ball on for themselves here is just
Good
like, because clearly they want to like make this. If this does well, they want to make more of them.
Mm-hmm.
They shouldn't have like split them at the end, because like the main selling point was seeing Ryan Reynolds talk as a Pikachu.
Oh, split Pikachu. Yeah, I know. But I mean, then that's kind of creepy. Like, hell yeah, Dad, you're a Pikachu now.
But if Mewtwo was like, yeah, your dad was too injured, I couldn't save him, but I was able to put his mind in Pikachu.
True.
Like, that way then you can have Ryan Reynolds voice Pikachu again.
I don't think that they actually... I don't think they thought that this would be sequel worthy, and B, I don't think they thought they would have the money to pay Ryan Reynolds to do this again.
Maybe. They also announced they're making Detective Pikachu 2 this week.
Fuck. Is Ryan Reynolds in it?
I just saw before we recorded that they had announced it a couple days ago.
Yikes. Jimmy, what was your favorite part?
When they killed the bad guy's like invention just by taking the remote off his brain.
Yeah.
Well, I was like,
classic kids movie.
It is a kids movie. Like, that's how simple this needs to be. You can't rip on it. You can't critique it, because that's like what kids understand.
Mm-hmm.
Take the remote off the brain and it stops everything. Very simple to do.
Yeah.
And then Pikachu dying. Pikachu died and like the devil came and I like saved him. I didn't understand that.
That was Mewtwo.
Was it good or bad?
He was good.
Mewtwo?
Mewtwo was good.
Then he just got controlled to be bad.
Yes.
Yeah. The reason why he was all linked up with stuff because they were trying to abuse him to use his powers because he's one of the most powerful Pokemon, as we know. And so the only part that the detective was seeing him like lash out and hurt people, but really he was just trying to get free and save people. So, good guy.
Good guy. All right, let's rate it. Let's rate it and review it.
Cool.
All right.
Who wants to go first? John, you go first. I want
critical.
Let's do popcorn first, and John will go first.
Okay.
It's out of 5 stars, everyone.
I feel like I'm gonna go high on this. Not perfect. You can't give 5 popcorns for eye rolls everywhere, but I mean, I liked it a lot. So I want to say 4.5.
Okay.
It was enjoyable.
That's perfectly good because I also gave it a 4.5, and I only took the half off because the first 15 minutes I didn't like until like the story actually got moving and he was teamed up with Pikachu.
And Psyduck.
Oh, I like Psyduck actually.
Hated Psyduck.
Who's Psyduck?
The duck.
Psyduck
Pokemon.
was a duck that like blew up.
I loved. Because I always hated him in the cartoon. I liked him in this just because Pikachu was so like worried about this Pokemon that could just blow them up at any point.
It was his own personal nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am giving it a 3.
I don't think that's what you really want to give it.
It's a kids movie though.
Yeah.
But you liked it. What was your... I want you to be true to yourself.
Well, it'd be a 0, but that's rude.
I was assuming you would give it like a 2, 2.5. But 2.5 is like in the middle.
I mean, no. I mean, like if my entertainment value,
Mm-hmm.
and if I wasn't reviewing it for this, I wouldn't watch
turn it off.
I'd turn it off in 2 seconds. So I'm trying to
All right, so
not tank it here.
So pretend you're like 10-year-old Jimmy. Little 10-year-old
Who's allowed to
infant
watch
Jimmy.
cartoons?
He wouldn't have liked this either. 10-year-old. If I would have liked, the only way I would have liked it now is if 10-year-old Jimmy would like Pokemon. He didn't.
Pretend you like Pokemon.
Just change your entire backstory.
It's a 3. And how come?
Okay.
How come my calculator won't work here?
Uh-oh. Did you go past the point of the calculations?
Yeah. All right. That's a 4. Got it.
Okay.
Nice.
4. Let's do critical now. John, you get to go first again.
Okay. It's like it's tough with a kids movie because you can't bash it too hard because it wasn't trying to be good, right? It was aimed towards 10-year-olds. So
no. Our critical scale is 1 scale that all movies fall
it's
on.
Tough though. It's tough because.
But I think there are like plenty of things in this movie to rate highly, like the CGI and the acting. You might think the plot is dumb, but there are good things in the film.
Sure.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go 70. C minus.
Okay.
What? Jimmy, what's the
I
face?
feel so much better now because I went into this thinking I was going to be the highest person.
So you have this over Ocean's 8, Lego Movie,
yes.
The Man Who Killed Hitler, Happy Death Day, Happy Death Day 2, The Snowman.
Yeah. I'm
all
confident
of
behind all
those.
these.
This is better than.
Yes.
All right.
So I'm putting it in at 68. So just a little bit under yours. I think it's in that like D plus C minus range. It's not great, but like I said in the beginning, it's better than it has any right to be. And it's better than all those movies besides The Man Who Killed Hitler that you just listed.
I mean, the story wasn't that bad if you were a simpleton like me.
And simple doesn't equal bad.
Jimmy, he's gonna quit on the fucking spot right now.
I'm beyond. I'm so disappointed. It's like we have a fucking system.
Okay. Talk it out.
I don't care. I'm giving it a 25 because it was supposed to be if it's above 50, it would get voted for an Oscar in at least one category.
No, I thought that was.
I could see this getting like a special effects thing.
Wait, no. I thought what? Okay.
No,
I
it's
thought
also
I was above
50 doesn't mean vote for an Oscar. That's not what we said.
Yeah, I thought ours like above 50. If it's anything below 50, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, if it was to get an Oscar vote in any category, then it would be above 50. If not, it's below 50.
Now's your chance to try to talk me down, Jimmy. I mean, I had 70.
Oh, I don't care.
I'm just
Our
saying.
rating system, we should just throw it out the window.
No.
You're just mad that we don't agree with you.
No, because you guys you consistently rate movies on their own scale and not one scale.
No,
okay.
like we said, I think all the CGI, all the cinematography in this movie is good. I think the acting is okay to good, depending on who you're talking about. It's just the plot I thought was dumb, and so I'm not gonna take off 70 points for the plot.
You have this above Bird Box,
Yes.
Jurassic World,
Yes.
Vice. In
Personally,
critical.
I think it's better than Vice, but
In
Sheehan
critical.
loved it.
In critical.
Yes.
All right.
See, when I was going by my critical, I looked at my scores, and it fit well with mine.
Yeah, so did I.
It averages out to a 54.
I think that's okay.
Yeah.
Jimmy, this is why we need you. This is a 3-person podcast to get the general consensus. 50's a bad number, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jimmy's fucking fuming. He is so upset.
This was a Spy Kids. You just gave Spy Kids a 70 critical. This was like Lava Girl and Shark Boy. You just gave it a fucking 70 critical.
What do you think the Rotten Tomato scores are, you guys?
I don't care.
Shane, what about you? He's getting so angry. This is great.
Oh my god. Rotten Tomatoes. God, I hope it's high. Just to piss off Jimmy.
Critical is a 98. No. Kidding.
I say critical is the 80.
Critical
80?
is 65.
Okay.
What do you think the audience score is?
Way higher than that.
That's 84.
Yeah.
And one last question for y'all. If
What?
Ben Affleck was in this movie, who would he be?
Oh, he would definitely be the son who was in charge of the the media company, the CNN.
Or the DJ.
I could see him not being the DJ, but being the guy who had the
Yeah.
Charizard.
Guy in
He could
charge
do
of the battle place. Yeah.
Or like the bad guy. Nah.
I don't think he's old
Nah.
enough to be the bad guy.
He'd be
The bad
like
guy's son fit.
he'd be.
We didn't even talk about Bill Nighy in this.
He could do Ryan Reynolds' job, but like it would not comedy. It would be like more heartwarming.
Yeah. No,
And
Ryan Reynolds is perfect.
An attempt at more heartwarming.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that about wraps it up.
This will be the last podcast Jimmy does.
What are we reviewing? John Wick 3 next
John
Monday?
Wick 3.
Yes.
And on Friday, we will be back with another episode of Headliner to talk about the most recent news in Hollywood and entertainment. Tune in. Thanks for hanging out with us. We will see you later.
Pika Pika.